to Millennials on the Move. Our guest millennial today is Jeremy Shaw. Hi to the audience.
How you doing?
All right, so before we get into our interview, I want to ask him personal questions. Like, tell us about yourself. What are you doing right now?
Well, my name is Jeremy Shaw. I grew up in Lauderdale Lakes, right behind the plaza near Boyd Anderson, if you're from South Florida. I went to Miramar High School, graduated from there in 2008, then went to Tallahassee, went to TCC for 2 years, then went to Florida State for 3 years. Had an amazing time at Florida State, pledged Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, shout out to ID, and just had an amazing time in college. Then came back home, really got entrenched inside of social justice work, specifically with the Dream Defenders, and been working with them ever since around a myriad of things, and now I'm opening my bookstore.
Wow, that's I want to ask you so many questions, and now I'm just gonna wait till we get to that time. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So, this bookstore, where did that come from? What idea did you have, or dream, or vision? What led to that?
So, like I said, when I came home, I really wanted to learn more about myself.
Okay.
And learn about where I came from. So I started asking questions to my grandmother, my dad, my aunties about our history. And from there, that made me read more. So like read African history, American history, just all up through the line. And I just was engulfed by it, and I was so enlightened. It was like a spark, light flipped, right? In my mind, and I awoke to all of these things that was happening to us, as far as black folks go. And then I was trying to find spaces that sold books, but were also very filled with people that I could speak to about these type of things. I couldn't really find it in Broward County, right? So there's not really any black bookstores in Broward County. There's one in Lauderhill Mall, but it's kind of like a closed store slash like everything. So it's not like a traditional, bookstore with spaces where you can have intellectual conversations and things like that. So I really wanted to make that space. And that's where that came from. And also I love reading. Love reading, completely love it. And I know about so many times where reading has helped black folks specifically become their fullest selves. You know, Malcolm X. I was watching this documentary with Freeway Rick Ross, and he literally studied himself out of jail. So like he studied these law books so much that he found pieces in these law books that he told his lawyers that they used in his defense to get him out of jail. So pieces in these law books that the lawyers didn't even know, he figured out because he read so much. And he studied himself out of jail. So I really believe reading is enlightenment, and it can help folks out.
Right. So where are you in that process as far as finding a building, and how has all that been for you? Let's just talk about that.
I haven't found a building yet, but I do have a lot of offers for some really dope things. There's a space in Sistrunk called the Megaphone. There's kind of like a crate that they cut out the side, and it's kind of like a stage slash like everything. So it'd be like a really dope spot. It's in the middle of the community. So it's not your traditional bookstore. And I haven't found a brick and mortar yet, which is a traditional one. But I'm still on the look for that. But yeah, I also want to do something that's really revolutionary and also speaks to our generation. Right? Because I feel like our generation is so like awesome and abstract and like weird, you know what I'm saying? So I was really thinking about go Millennials. So I was really thinking about like getting a bus and like turning it into this like revolutionary bus where we just gut it out and have the bookstore in there and just go different places, turn it into a stage one night, you know what I'm saying? And do things like that, because I think we're dope like that, and we need to do dope shit to attract us.
So it sounds like you want this bookstore to encompass intellectual conversations, an understanding of our history, of course a traditional bookstore where you go and you read, essentially. Will it be necessarily open to the public, or just kind of like to the African American community? Like, have you thought about that aspect of it.
Yeah, it'll definitely be open to anybody that wants to come learn. It's not just for African American communities because we have white allies, allies all over the world. We're not the only colored folks.
Right.
So we're all over the world. So it'll be open to everybody. There's one thing I forgot to mention. AphroDust also really has this science fiction-y feel about it I wanted to have. So like this really Afro-futuristic feel, because I feel like a lot of times we're kind of left out of the realms of science fiction as far as black people. The dude that plays the guy in Star Wars, it's kind of putting us in there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that should be explored a lot more. So black folks thinking about how we would look in a futuristic way, you know what I'm saying? So that's something else that AphroDust encompasses.
Okay, so what would you say is your greatest accomplishment? It could be involving getting your bookstore together, or it could just be just in life in general. What's your greatest accomplishment?
I don't know, that's hard.
We have time. I'll wait.
My greatest accomplishment, as far as the bookstore goes, and maybe I can figure out something else for myself, but as far as the bookstore goes, it would be getting reviews from people about books, right? So going back to somebody after a week or two, maybe a month, and they're telling me how this book changed their life, changed how they move in the world, and that's something that I really wanted to do, change people's perspectives with books. So as far as the bookstore goes, that's something that's amazing for me. And my personal life, I guess, I don't know, I guess my greatest accomplishment would be learning how to be more self-aware. I know that's a real weird greatest accomplishment, but but it's kind of
it's very needed.
I mean, it's because when I was going throughout college, you know, I was aware of myself, and I was still a good guy, but I wasn't like critically thinking and had like a really really introspective character about myself. So like thinking about what I wanted, how I viewed the world, how other people viewed the world, just having like this global vision of myself inside of a community. So gaining that, I think, is something that's really, really valuable to me.
I agree. So we talked about your greatest accomplishment, personal and business. I have to ask you, so we can bring it down to all that greatness that you just talked about. We have to be able to see eye to eye. As far as your challenges, you know, like it can be personal growth challenges. No, I really want personal growth. So personal growth challenge that you have, and also a challenge with starting all of this. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, personal growth. Biggest challenges. I think my biggest challenge for personal growth, and I think this is something that a lot of men need to learn how to do, is like challenge yourself as far as like patriarchy goes. And not only patriarchy that affects women, but patriarchy that affects men. And patriarchy is just like this system of rules and different things that affect genders in a certain type of way, that put men on top, give men a certain type of image, and women down here. So challenging myself with that, because the pull to be like the machismo like man is so hard. When you really just wanna. Sometimes you need to cry. You know? Sometimes you want to laugh and not be serious. Sometimes you want to be goofy. Sometimes you just want to wear stuff that you just feel like wearing. You know what I'm saying? But you're always looked at in a certain type of way in the community and by other men. So being able to really challenge myself as far as that goes, with just being who I want to be. It's like independent of the gender. Like I want to do something, I'm gonna do it just because I feel like it. You know so that I think has been my greatest challenge, and still something I'm working on a lot. Trying to be a better person.
So earlier you said you like reading a lot of books. So is there a particular book that really just changed your outlook? Like, what was the book that changed your outlook, or if not completely changed your outlook? What's one of your favorite books that you're reading now, or you have read, or?
I would say one of my favorite books that helped me a lot, is The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Great book.
I love him. Carter G.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Educate the youth.
Great book. I think every black person should read that book.
Mm-hmm.
It really helped me out. Just learning how we've kind of been miseducated, and how Reconstruction and how teaching and Reconstruction kind of miseducated us.
Right.
And then going on from there, reading other books. I would say Introduction to African Civilization by John G. Jackson was a great book. It really helped me understand like where we came from.
Right.
And a whole slew of other African history books.
Right.
Another book that I really love is James Baldwin's Fire Next Time, and James Baldwin, No Saves Time. James Baldwin, one of my favorite ancestors, period. Love that guy. But James Baldwin is like one of the most honest, prophetic people that I've ever read and I've ever heard speak.
Right.
Just amazing guy.
Right. Okay. So, do you have a quote that you live by, or a quote that just stands out? Just something that you read, something that you saw, something that your family members continue to tell you. Like, do you have a specific one of those?
Well, actually, James Baldwin. I have a quote from him that I love. It's really simple. He says, "I want to be an honest man and a good writer. Period. I want to be an honest man and a good writer." And I think people think about honesty and just like, okay, just tell the truth, don't tell a lie, and it's like this binary. But
Right.
Being honest is so much more, because it's being honest with yourself.
Right.
Being honest about other people. So like saying, okay, you're a human, you don't think in one certain type of way, so
Right.
I have to honestly consider all other considerations about you.
Right.
That you're not perfect, but you're
Right.
still a person, and considering people that we don't like, right?
Right.
So like me going up to a Confederate, I was at a protest not too long ago. We were talking to these folks that were doing this really huge Confederate rally. And I honestly came in because I wanted to talk to him and see his point of view, and understand that he's not just his action, but he's a sum of his experiences.
Right.
So seeing where he comes from, understanding him, and understanding that he may not be that bad, and we can talk and maybe come to some consensus. So understanding people, being empathetic, compassionate, and all of these things is what I think James Baldwin meant when he said, "I want to be an honest man."
That's great. Good words. I'm gonna have to look him up constantly.
James Baldwin.
Okay, well, that was great. If you
Thank
have
you.
anything else you want to share, any initiatives that you're starting or anything like that, you can just.
I think that everybody should just start tuning into the world more, tuning into themselves, loving other people, become more empathetic and compassionate, and just try to make the world a better place, as we live here. So to be is to resist, right? So if you're living, then you're resisting in some type of way because somebody wants you to do something you probably don't want to do. So resist.
Resist, people. All right, so next time on Millennials on the Move. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you soon.
What's up, folks? I'm co-founder of AphroDust. If you want to contact me, go to AphroDust8@gmail.com. AphroDust, spelled with the PH, APHRODUST, 8@gmail.com. Contact us. Also, if you want to buy books, go to rootsmarketplace.org. Go under shop books, look under the book section, check our books out. Also, you can go to Facebook and like the page at AphroDust, and that's it.